What is up, everybody, and welcome to FLW Videos. We just got the recent announcement that we are going to get Ralts for the August Community Day. So August Community Day is going to be August 3rd, so we do not have that much time, a total of 2 weeks between the last Community Day. I will say that I thought it was pretty cool that Pokemon Go did send out a video. I thought that that was kind of cool, and I think that they're definitely going to be using it moving forward. It's definitely professional and something to get people very excited about. But we've got a situation on our hands where it's going to be a little bit unique as opposed to past community days, maybe more like the Eevee Community Day to some extent, where we are going to have a multiple line evolution including Gallade as well as Gardevoir. So we are of course going to be talking about a prep guide for August 3rd for the Community Day. There's a couple things that you can go ahead and start doing just to take full on advantage of the event once it ends up getting here. So as you can see, we are going to get 1/4 egg hatching distance. Now I will go ahead and give this disclaimer. For me personally, I have not been a person to take advantage of this type of event. I don't like hatching eggs in that way because you're having to pay for incubators. I would of course much rather have a Stardust event, but it is what it is. We are still going to crunch the numbers. Just want to give a disclaimer. If you are a free-to-play person or do not use as much money in the game, then maybe the egg route is not going to be the way to go. But if you do choose so, go ahead and check out these different charts where we're going to have the timing for the regular incubators as well as the super incubators. Something interesting is that we're going to get those 10 kilometers down to 1.67, so you can go ahead and get yourself some 10-kilometer eggs if you want to, but do not start them until the event actually starts. But the prep for that is to get some of the 10-kilometer eggs ahead of time. And then, by the way, with the 2-kilometer eggs, I would just completely ignore a super incubator. Do not do that. Just use your free one if you're going to do that. So as far as the items are concerned, this is going to be a fairly typical thing that we'll talk about. Just adding on some incubators to the mix. Definitely get yourself some star pieces. Be on the lookout in the store for any type of opportunity to get yourself a star piece. That is easily one of the best things that you can do. Secondarily, if you choose to, maybe some super incubators, maybe a couple of them. You can start defending gyms, build yourself up some coins, and then by the time the event rolls around, you could end up getting a couple of incubators, so that could end up being a really good guide. And something that I have personally done myself is stacked up tremendously on Pineapps. I go into each community day with probably about 500 or so, and during the last live stream that I did for the Mudkip Community Day, I had over 1,000 candies that I was able to get just because I Pineapp every single one of them. So you can definitely go ahead and start prepping for that. But regardless of that, we have a couple of interesting things to talk about. So first things first, we've got Gardevoir, right? And all you have to do is simply evolve up through it, but then secondarily, you have this Gallade option, and Gallade requires a Sinnoh Stone. So we'll go ahead and put the disclaimer up that you may want to go ahead and start farming for Sinnoh Stones, but I will give you this kind of disclaimer. In the past, what we have ended up seeing for something like a Mamoswine Community Day, we ended up getting 5 free Sinnoh Stones. Hey guys, how's it going? Wanted to quickly interrupt the video. I meant to say 10 stones, not sure why I said 5, unless I was referring to maybe the split between them. 10 should be enough depending on what you want to do, but that's of course under the assumption that we will end up getting them automatically, but if not, it's probably a good idea to go ahead and at least get a couple of them just in case we don't get as much. But anyways, I'm gonna let you get back to the video. So if you don't plan on using more than 5, go ahead and just skip out on this step. You don't have to farm for it. But if you want to get a ton of them, maybe to save them for trading later on, then I would highly recommend you to go ahead and start farming for Sinnoh Stones if you do not already have them. And the way that you can get it, at least the easiest way, is just through the PvP system. So regardless of that, I want to go ahead and speculate on what I think the moveset is going to be, because I think we actually have a lot of reasoning behind this. So first things first, we've got the typing in relation to Gardevoir, and then of course we have the typing related to Gallade. And as you're seeing, the common denominator between the two is the psychic typing. And because it is the psychic typing, I truly do believe that we will see the Community Day move be psychic type. Unfortunately, however, Future Sight might be on your mind. Future Sight is not learned by Gallade. Unfortunately, that would easily be the most ideal one. But I'll tell you a move that we haven't really talked about that I personally think is going to end up being the move for the Community Day, and that is Synchronized. So for Synchronized, as many of you may or may not know, Once we ended up having the Team Rocket event and the Shadow Pokemon being introduced briefly into the game, there ended up being 3 moves data mined throughout it. But as you will see, you may have recognized Frustration for Shadow Pokemon. You may have recognized Return for the Purify Pokemon. But Synchronized was nowhere to be found. Coincidentally, it is a Psychic type move, and secondarily, it can be learned by both Gallade and Gardevoir. Will it be a quick move? Will it be a charge move? I'm personally not sure, but I do think that Synchronized is going to end up being the Community Day exclusive move. I mean, to be honest, this really kind of threw a wrench in it once we ended up seeing Charm thrown into the mix, but I personally think it will be that Synchronized. Go ahead and hold me to it if you want. But anyways, I want to go ahead and briefly say what I think about the 2 options and what I would personally focus on. I think Gardevoir is going to be great. It's going to be interesting to see how Synchronized works. How good is it going to be? Because in that regard, we could see some usability out of Gallade, because to be honest, Gallade isn't really in the game as far as meta relevancy is concerned. So I'd love to see it be updated and become more useful. But I want to know what you think about this in the comment section below. And of course, what tips do you have to go ahead and prepare for this short duration until the community day? Let us know in the comment section below. Of course, if you are excited about it, let me know as well. And I will see you next time. This is where we give a huge shout out to the patrons on Patreon. As many of you may not know, as far as YouTube content creators are concerned with smaller channels, you don't make that much money, although there is a lot of hard work that goes into it. So support on Patreon is very important to smaller creators, and I want to say thank you so much for everyone who has chosen to be a part of it.